Okay, what you're saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this, make sure you follow me on my Telegram channel. I left a link to that in the live chat and the description below. So you post a lot of different trading setups throughout the week, and you don't be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, we've got another live stream and talk you through what's going on in the charts and see if we've got any opportunities coming up. So we'll start with AUD USD. So you can see with this one this morning, I had a push to the downside there. The market kind of gapped down a little bit from where it closed on Friday, and we had a big push to the downside. So it looks like the market is starting to retrace the move that I've been talking about. As you can see here, we've had a big push to the upside all the way from the lows down here all the way up to here. So again, over 600 pips. You do expect to see some retrace coming back into the market. It looks like we are going to get some push to the downside now for AUD. You can see we are looking very bearish there on the Friday chart. The 10am candle closed very bearish there, and it looks like the current candle is looking bearish as well. So could probably be expecting a deeper retrace for AUD. If I jump on the weekly chart, you can see that we do have a nice level here. I'll zoom in. Previous level of resistance on the weekly now turns support, so we could potentially be coming to around that area from a weekly point of view. As you can see in the weekly, quite overextended as well, so do expect to see some retrace on that chart and potentially to some previous area of resistance now turn support. So again, this area previously acting as resistance gave us this move to the downside, will be acting as a support there again as well. So around 0.7368, so around there potentially could see price come to the downside for AUD. As you can see on the daily chart, a little bit better actually. You can see you come to test that area, push the downside, so around there potentially could be seeing price come back to at least before we start to see any major pushes back to the upside potentially for this pair. Again, for our chart looking very bearish. Going to be expecting price to continue, and got the 200 average not too far away as well from that level, so potentially could see price drop to that level. Again, not going to be expecting just a complete drop to that level, although that could happen. Probably going to see some retrace before we get there, but expecting to see a longer move to the downside for AUD. Euro USD, this one's looking bearish as well. As you can see, we're starting to come back to this previous area of resistance now turn support on the daily chart. As you can see here, area of resistance, we pushed the upside, big push, and it looks like we're having another equal push to the downside. So it looks like the push to the upside was a bit false for Euro USD, and since we're coming back to the same level now, quite impulsively as well. And if we manage to close below that level, again, we could be seeing a deeper retrace, which we were expecting for Euro USD. As you can see here, if I draw a line across, previous area of resistance all along here, we didn't get a retest of that area. Price just shot up and continued to move in that bullish direction to the upside. So again, we could be seeing a deeper retrace for Euro USD back to this level. I believe it's around 1.2. So yeah, around that level, around 1.2, potentially could see a move back to that area. Previous resistance on the weekly chart as well, I believe. Yeah, as you can see here, previous resistance as well on the weekly chart of those wicks. So again, from a weekly, daily and hourly point of view, you want to see a deeper retrace in the market. And since we're coming back and violating this area here, obviously the daily candle's still got a long way to go before that candle closes. We've still got another 12 hours before that candle closes. But if we do get a candle at closing, and that looks sort of how we are looking now, we'll potentially be seeing a longer pullback for USD back into that area there. And on the Friday chart, again, still looking very bearish there. As you can see, it's probably taken off to the downside there. So for USD, expecting to continue to the downside, again, to around this area where we got the 200 average on the Friday as well. Expecting that move to be happening this week, it looks like. USD CAD, big push to the upside, as you can see here. Price broke out of the channel that we were looking at. Again, if I draw the trend line in the market here, so again, you've got the lows of the trend line, highs of the trend line, which I connect to the wicks there. We broke above the trend line on Friday, I believe. And I was saying now potentially we've got the momentum to go and see a move to go and test our daily support area, now turn resistance. And as you can see, we broke up that trend line, and price from there has just taken off to the upside. And the daily chart, you can see a little better there. Had a push to the upside on Friday a little bit, and now today's just taking off to the upside. This area was our target here, previous daily support, now turned daily resistance. So again, going to be expecting a move probably a little bit higher for USD CAD into this area. We could retrace before that and see price fall over a little bit before we get the test of the area. I'm still expecting from a daily point of view to see a test of this area here around 1.3 around there for USD CAD. Previous area of support all along here, now turn resistance. And I think even from a weekly point of view, we did see a nice break to the downside, where you do expect to see some retrace. Yeah, as you can see, previous support there on the weekly chart as well. If I extend that across, acting as support there, which gave us that big move to the upside. So again, from a weekly point of view, you want to see a retest of this area, and from a daily as well. So we do have some nice confidence there. We do expect to push the upside from a weekly and daily time frame, and it looks like we're having that currently right now. You can see it quite nicely on the daily there as well. 4 hourly still looking very bullish as well for this time frame. Potentially we see some pullback soon, but again, if price wants to continue, we've got the momentum on our side to the upside, and that can continue for how long it wants to. USD is starting to look bullish again. As you can see, we had a push to the downside as we were expecting last week, creating some new lows in the market, which we expected, and price is now looking bullish again. In the past, as you can see, we've had a big push to the downside, and after that we've had another equal big push to the upside, come to test that trend line now. So you can see recently had a big push to the downside, expecting price to go and find some support now, and then potentially come up and go and test that trend line again. So like I was saying, from my weekly analysis, our first target was this area of previous support, now turn resistance. As you can see, we're currently testing that, so we're currently hit that first area, but now because of the momentum that we have on our side here, potentially we've seen price go and test that trend line for a fifth test now, potentially. As you can see in the 4 hourly chart, we kind of just took off to the upside. We closed above our moving averages, and from then we've been looking very bullish. So obviously USD doesn't move that well. It does have it burst, but it does kind of move sideways from time to time. So then going to be expecting some retrace for that pair, but I think we could potentially get to the trend line for a fifth test finally, and you see price roll back over again, or maybe have a break this time. But I think we are on our way to go and test that trend line for a fifth time on USD and USD start to look bullish as well. You can see in the daily start to pop out there. We had that big push to the downside, then price was slowly moving to the downside there. And I was saying we're looking very corrective here. You can see the momentum change from this, a lot of bearish momentum, to this, when we had a lot of dojis coming in, a lot of small body candles. So the momentum changed, and you can see a push to the upside was inevitable for USD. And currently we are looking like we're having that push now. You can see in the 4 hour chart kind of taking off to the upside. Looks like we've broken out our channel here. If I connect the wicks and the highs and lows of price, again we have this channel and the 4 hourly time frame moving to the downside correctively, and you can see we've had a push to the upside, broken above that. So similar setup to USD CAD actually, and we have that channel we've broken above it. So probably from now we can be seeing a move to the upside, going to test this previous area of daily support, now turn daily resistance. You can see on the daily chart very well there, previous support all along here will be turn resistance. So could be seeing a move to that area for USD. And again, either see price roll over again, but if we do break through this area, could be seeing a longer push back to the upside for USD potentially. But again, favouring a move back to this area at least from a daily point of view, and then potentially see where price can go, and we'll have another judgment of price when we get there. But as of now, looking very bullish, expecting price to continue to the upside there. Could be getting some pullback soon potentially, but expecting USD to give us a move to go and test that area on the daily time frame. Next, we'll take a look at EUR/GBP. Now EUR/GBP give us a big move to the upside there on the daily chart. As you can see here, we actually had a gap up, and then I think because of the GBP weakness, we just took off to the upside. So we held at a really strong area on the daily time frame here. If I clear the chart up a little bit, as you can see here, a very strong area of daily support here, and of course got the 200 average there on the daily as well, acting as support. We held this area, and I was saying in the live stream, if you do hold this area, probably going to get on the push to the upside back to the highs up here where we wicked, and potentially create another higher high. So as you can see, we are holding that area, and then price gapped up, and from there we've just been looking bullish for EUR/GBP. You see on the Friday as well, just that big push to the upside at 10 AM on the Friday candle. So again, going to be expecting some retrace, but I do expect UGP to potentially create some new higher highs and break through this resistance here on the 4 hourly chart. So expecting UGP to continue to the upside, but could be seeing some retrace soon for that pair. Next, we'll take a look at GPUSD. Now for GPUSD, had a gap to the downside, and then price just completely dropped to the downside. As you can see here, we had that push to the upside last week. Price gapped up, found support, and then gapped up. Then continued to the upside, found the highs up here, and then as the week finished, we got to the downside, and then a big push to the downside. So for this one, GPUSD has been all over the place, really. We're coming back to some strong area support here where we had the move to the upside from. As you can see, a previous support there gave us the move to the upside, and I believe the trend line that I've been talking about is not too far away as well. So again, if I connect the lows of price, let's get an initial test there, second there, third, fourth. We could be on our way to go and test this trend line for possibly a fifth test potentially, and then potentially see another bounce maybe, or see price continue a lot further. But I do believe you can potentially get a fifth test of the trend line now for GPUSD, maybe create a new low below that where we had that push to the upside. But again, we are looking very bearish here on the 4-hourly time frame. No sign of bullishness at all really for GPUSD. Of course, you do expect to see some retrace come into the market, but I do expect us to head lower and potentially go and test that trend line for a fifth test. So for GPUSD, still looking bearish. Expect the price to continue to the downside there and go and test our daily trend line for a fifth test there. Next, we'll take a look at NZD-CAD. Now, NZD-CAD looking bearish again. You can see the current 10 a.m. candle gave us a big push to the downside. Now we're looking bearish. Now I expect NZD-CAD to give us a move to the downside. As you can see here, really nice area of previous support in the market. Now term resistance. We had this big impulsive move. Still treating all this move to the upside as retrace for NZD-CAD. And you see very impulsive move, kind of just moving quite sideways. Broke to the upside, not really that much momentum, but did break to the upside. So I'm expecting NZD-CAD to fall back to the downside now, back to the 200 moving average at least, and potentially back to the lows all the way down here where we found support. So NZD-CAD expecting a move to the downside for this pair, back to the lows here, and possibly actually a break of this area if we start to see the higher time frames come and take control from a daily and weekly point of view as well. So expecting a move to the downside for this pair. Actually, on the weekly chart, looks like we might be having a double top potentially. As you can see, push the upside, had that engulfing candle on the weekly, back at the same highs again, and we're starting to look bearish. So we do have the opportunity for potential double top on the weekly time frame, and that's the case. You could be expecting a break of these lows here. But again, for NZD-CAD, we are looking very bearish, and I do expect price to continue to the downside for NZD-CAD. Next, we'll take a look at NZD-USD. NZD-USD looking very bearish as well, similar to AUD-USD as well. As you can see, just a big drop to the downside, and you can see we're finally potentially going to have that move I've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. As you can see, we broke to the highs quite a while ago now. This is previous resistance where we had that double top and that push to the downside. Broke above there. We didn't have a retest of this area here, so we had this big move to the outside, big extended move, no real strong pullbacks in the market. So expecting the market potentially to come back all the way and test this area down here. You can see from a weekly point of view as well, broke for the highs up there, no retest. So I do expect to move back to this area potentially to go and find some strong support in the market. And you can see on the daily time frame already looking very bearish. 4-hourly as well looking very bearish, and hourly looking very bearish as well. So going to be expecting that momentum to continue, but could be seeing some retrace soon. As you can see for NZD-USD, if I draw this level across here, we're in some strong support area where we had that push to the upside. So going to be expecting some retracing for NZD-USD. But inevitably going to be expected price to really continue to the downside for this one from a daily and weekly point of view for this pair. Next one, take a look at CAD-JPY. CAD-JPY, I'm currently in a trade for this one. I was in a trade for quite a while ago now. I got into the market here, and then you can see we had a nice push to the downside from there. So again, I was kind of factoring the daily into my trade here because again, we've got this range on the daily point of view here. So again, got the resistance up there, got the support down there, and you can see we're kind of just moving sideways. We're back up to the highs there. We kind of wicked above it a little bit, as you can see, kind of took out the highs a little bit. So again, I was looking for a swing back to the downside for this one. Potentially come all the way to the lows here, but I don't think I'll hold on to the trade for that long. Again, we are coming up to a strong area of support around here, so looking for price to continue a little bit further to go and test this area from a daily point of view. I'll probably just look to exit the trade there. And I do believe we can potentially go and test the lows over here for CAD-JPY from a daily point of view. We are looking very bearish. We are moving sideways back at the highs. Naturally, do expect to move back lower. And if you take a look at CAD-JPY on the weekly chart as well, if I draw this trend line in, so again, you have initial test there, second, third. Now we had our fourth test of this trend line, so easily we can get another move back to the downside. Probably even break out of the range pattern to the downside potentially. So again, it can go a lot further, and we can just look to enter later in the future. But for now, going to be holding to that trade just for a little bit. You can see we are looking very bearish there, broken the 200 moving average as well. So going to see how far that can continue. And Euro NZD as well is another trade that I actually got into towards the end of last week as well, looking for a move to the upside. On the Friday chart, I got in that candle there. You can see we had this double bottom potentially here that I was looking at. So we had that impulsive move to the upside, treating this bearish move here as a retrace. Got support there, failed to break it again there, gave us a nice move to the upside, and looking for price to continue and create some higher highs for Euro NZD. And on the daily chart, you can see we had the big move to the downside. So again, we were expected to see some retrace in the market. As you can see, very impulsive move to the downside. You do expect to see some retrace of that. So I was factoring that into the trade. As you can see, we did see a nice push to the upside for Euro NZD for this one, creating some new highs. So now I'm going to be expecting some retrace in the market. Already take some profit off after we did this move. So again, we're going to be expecting some retrace in the market, but I still think we can potentially move a little bit higher for Euro NZD. If we start to collapse, start to fall back down, I'll probably just exit the trade. But again, we did see a big push to the upside, so going to be expecting some retrace. But I can see Euro NZD going further to the upside for this pair. And last, we're going to take a look at GBP NZD. Now, GBP NZD, not too much happened. We did see a big gap to the downside, but not really as impulsive moves that we've been seeing in other pairs, some of the AU pairs and the other GBP pairs. I think it's because GBP is very weak right now, and so is NZD as well. So kind of just moving sideways for this pair. Again, we did see price fail to break some highs up here, previous lows actually. As you can see here, really strong support area for GBP NZD. All support along there, now term resistance. So for us to see a proper reversal for GBP NZD, we need to see a break of this key level there in the market. You can see we kind of held it, and we're looking kind of how that pushed the downside from that area. We kind of gapped below, so again, not really too much to deal with here with GBP NZD as in any trades. Maybe you want to see price come back a little bit lower first, maybe go and fill the gap, and then we can potentially see a push to the upside potentially. But again, we kind of just gapped to the downside and then now just moving sideways on the hourly chart as well, not too much there. So won't be looking to take any trades for GBP NZD at this moment in time. Kind of just moving sideways really, so no real trade for me there for GBP NZD, but potentially could be seeing another test of that same area potentially, or maybe another drop to the downside to the lows where we could look to take it back up higher again for GBP NZD. So far currently just in Euro NZD and CAD JPY. Probably going to look to exit those trades soon, but still believe they can got a little bit more room to run for both those trades. We'll be seeing how they get on today. If anyone wants me to look at any different charts, any different markets, any different pairs, just put it in the live chat. I'll make sure I'll give you some analysis on that pair. But like I said, just going to see how the charts get along today and just see how my trades get on as well. Okay, so I can take a quick look at GBP/JPY and Euro/JPY. Okay, so GBP/JPY. Okay, for this one, we saw a big push to the downside here. Again for GJ. As you can see, I'll probably go on the daily time frame. As you can see here, we do have strong resistance across here. Price failed to break it. We did see a big move to the downside previously. Price gapped up, had another push to the upside, and now from there we're looking very bearish. So for GBP/JPY, we're back to the lows down here. As you can see on the Friday time frame, we're back to the lows here. I do believe we'll potentially make some lower lows now for GBP/JPY, just because we have this impulsive move. We're going to be expecting some retrace from this move back to the upside, so potentially look to take advantage of a move to the upside, potentially maybe on the hourly time frame. But again, I'll be quite careful for this one because I feel like we've got space to move to the downside for GBP/JPY, potentially break through this level here and create another lower low. I think is on the cards. I think we do have a little bit of a trend line in the market on the daily time frame. I'm looking at the lows here, so again, initial test there, second there. So again, potentially could be seen on the way to go and test this trend line for fourth test now. As you can see, initial test there, second, third. Could be seeing a fourth test of this trend line potentially. So again, have that in mind. We still have room to go to the downside. So for GBP/JPY, I feel like we could move lower. But again, going to be seeing some retrace to the upside before that happens potentially. As you can see, if I measure this move to the downside, again over 260 pips, you do expect to see some retrace in the market before we do continue. So maybe on the hourly or the lower time frames, you can take advantage of that retrace to the upside. But I do expect price to eventually go and break through the support and go and test that daily trend line there, or potentially even further if we do keep up this bearish momentum. But as you can see here, we've been trying to break this resistance numerous times, and because we've had this impulsive move from that same level, it looks like price said to us we're not going to break it and potentially could be on our way down to create some lower lows for GBP/JPY. So again, I'll probably expect price to eventually give us another lower low there. We're currently testing this previous low. I do expect price to eventually go break it, but I could be seeing some retrace before that happens first. And then potentially price continue to the downside. So if you are looking to buy GBP/JPY, just be aware that we are looking very bearish from the higher time frame. So maybe you want to be taking your profits quicker there. But again, could be seeing some retrace for GBP/JPY. So just wait for some confirmation, some price action before you look to take that pair. But I still believe we can potentially move lower eventually from the daily and the Friday time frames. And Euro/JPY. For this one, again, bit all over the place recently on the Friday time frame. I can zoom in there. So again, kind of just had that big push the upside, moving sideways for a while now. We thought we saw price break the upside here. As you can see, we've got the resistance up here. We broke to the upside for a little bit, but as you can see there, the next bearish candle just took us right back under. So again, could be treating that as a false breakout. And now we're still looking bearish. Actually, no, not really looking bearish. We're kind of just moving sideways for Euro/JPY. So I wouldn't say we're looking bearish or bullish yet. We are getting a move to the downside within this range here. You can see on the hourly. If I zoom out a little bit, we had a big push to the upside. The price is moving all the way to the downside. So again, it's quite hard to trade this at this moment in time for Euro/JPY just because we're moving sideways. If we do break to the downside, because we've had that false breakout, the chances are we could break to the downside now. If we do break to the downside below this support, probably going to come test this level around 1254 Euro/JPY on the daily chart. As you can see, previous resistance all across here. We kind of broke to the upside, didn't get a retest of this area. So if we break to the downside below that level there, I do believe potentially could be coming to this area here at least, potentially even further maybe. But again, I do expect Euro/JPY to come to around the 125 level for us if you do break through that, break out through that range. But currently, I won't try and second guess it. Kind of just moving sideways really until we see a break of the low here. Then we could potentially expect price to come to 125. But as of yet, kind of just moving sideways for Euro/JPY. So I hope that analysis helped on those two pairs. But again, not really seeing any clear-cut opportunities on Euro/JPY at the moment in time. Okay, so it's just gone 12:30, so we're going to look to end the live stream shortly. Going to do a quick rundown of some of the markets, see how they've gotten since I last spoke at 10 a.m. and talk you through what's happening for my current trades as well. So AUD again starting to pull back as expected. We did see a big push to the downside this morning as market opened there, and you do expect to see some retrace in the market there. We had a big push to the downside of over 100 pips there, breaking some previous lows as well. So it's looking like we potentially could be having a reversal here for AUD and be seeing a longer push to the downside. And as you expect, you do expect to see some retrace in the market. It looks like we're pulling back up. So probably going to find some resistance there and then look to continue to the downside. I still think AUD's got a lot of room to move to the downside, but again, going to be seeing some retrace before that happens. EURUSD, again, for this one, kind of testing previous area of resistance in the market on the daily time frame. As you can see here, this area here where we have all those wicks in the market is all previous daily resistance on the daily time frame, and you can see we're kind of wicked into that area on the daily chart now. So it all depends how this daily candle closes. If we reject and get a wick to the downside and price fails to break that area, then potentially that will still be holding as daily support. But if you do get price closing bearish, closing below that area, it looks like we've broken that that daily support, and we could be getting a longer swing to the downside for EURUSD all the way to around 1.2. As you can see, if I zoom out, previous resistance all along here, previous resistance all along here will be turn support there. So again, could be seeing a longer retrace to the downside for EURUSD. As you can see, we did have a big push to the upside from the lows here all the way to the highs, over 600 pips. So you do expect some retrace, a deeper retrace of those 600 pips to be happening soon. As you can see, we did have a big push to downside this morning. This area here will be acting as support for EURUSD, so I need to watch out for that. Potentially could see another push to the upside for EURUSD if we do hold at this area, because this is now daily support. But if you do get closed below, again, do expect EURUSD to go a lot further to the downside. USD CAD, big push to the upside. We actually went all the way to 200 moving average on the 4-hourly chart. So again, that was a nice test of that area. I don't think we quite tested the daily support just yet. Potentially, well, we're quite close to it. So anyway, we did get a big push to the upside for USD CAD. Again, we're still expecting a test of this area of daily support. I'll turn daily resistance. We did get a big push, so potentially could see some retrace now for USD CAD. As you can see, we kind of just gained momentum to the upside there and gave us a big push on the 4-hourly time frame, breaking through a lot of levels back here. So again, going to be expecting some retrace for a lot of the USD pairs, since we've already had big moves this morning. So it looks like that's what the pairs are going to be doing now, and potentially could be setting out for another push to the upside soon, late this week potentially. USDJPY, we had a push to the upside, as you can see in the hourly chart, push the upside with that US dollar strength. And again, another push to the upside on the 4-hourly chart as well. We're currently testing a very key level of daily support, now turned daily resistance. As you can see on the daily time frame here, all support all along here, kept us moving sideways. We broke below it, had that move to the downside. Now we're retesting that same area as daily resistance. So again, going to need to take a lot of momentum to go and break that and get a daily close above that. Then we could just say that we had a break above, and now we could potentially be looking to go and test this trend line here for 5th test. As you can see, initial test there, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Now that we've created our lower low and been showing some bullish signs, we were expecting a 5th test, but again, we do have a barrier in front of us, this daily support now turned daily resistance. So as you can see in the 4-hourly time frame, we tried to break through it with that wick to the upside, and now we're so far trading below it. So again, we still got about an hour and 20 minutes before this 4H candle closes, so we can still look bullish. But from a daily point of view, you want to see a daily close above this level, not really 4-hourly, since it's more of a daily than a 4-hourly level. So again, we could easily see price get rejected and see another push to the downside for USDJPY, just because we're at a daily resistance. But I still think if we do get above this area, our next stop will probably be the trend line for USDJPY there. And USDCHF, we did see a big push to the upside recently. Again, you can see we're all at the highs here, we're pulling back to the downside. We did break through a little bit of a channel on the 4-hourly time frame. If I connect the highs and lows of this kind of weak downwards trend that we had here, we had that impulse move, they were kind of correctly moving to the downside in this channel. We broke to the upside this morning, as you can see in the 4H, we had a big push to the upside. So I'm probably still treating it as retrace right now for USDCHF. You can see in the hourly time frames quite messy there, so nothing too clear, but I still think we do have a longer move to the upside for USD from a daily point of view. As you can see, a really key level of daily support here. We didn't really get a retest of that area. We kind of just broke to the downside, had that drop, moving correctly there with low momentum candles. You can see a lot of dojis, a lot of small body candles. So now I do expect price to find some bullish momentum, go and test this area of previous daily support, now turn daily resistance, and either fall back over again to the downside or maybe give us a bigger push to the upside potentially. But for now, still expecting a test of this area. You can see in the 4 hourly time frame we had a push to the upside. It does look like I'm still treating this as retrace really, but again, it's not too clear on the hourly or 4 hourly really. Going to be interesting to see how this this candle closes on the 4H time frame. Again, still got an hour 20 minutes. We could easily see that wick filled potentially, or maybe price continue a lot further to the downside. So I'll probably wait for a lot of a clear opportunity, maybe another push to the downside, testing previous support or the trend line again, and then get some more price action to take this higher. But as of yet, a little bit unsure with USD My current trades, CAD JPY, we had a nice push to the upside. I got in over there, and you can see we had a nice push to the downside. Again, from a daily point of view, I still think we can go to the lows all the way down here, but I'm probably looking around this 80 level there. We kind of almost tested it on the 4 hourly chart. As you can see, we kind of wicked all the way. So if price starts to gain some bullish momentum here, I'll probably just look to exit my trade completely. Already taken most of my profit as we've gone down here. So if we do look to reverse from this area, then I'll probably just exit the trade completely. But I still think there's room to the downside from a daily point of view. As you can see in the daily chart, we're kind of just ranging here. We've got our resistance up there, and we've got our support down there. And you can see we're back at the highs. We've got an impulse to move to the downside on the daily chart, expecting that to continue to the lows here. Again, probably not going to be holding on to our position all the way to the lows here for CAD JPY. But again, if you start to see some bullish price action come back in, I'll probably look to exit that position. And Euro NZD, I also was in a long position in this pair. We had a nice push to the upside. I was in a long position since last week. And then you can see that we opened this morning, just had a big push to the upside there for Euro NZD. So again, really taking most of my profit on this one. Going to be expecting some retrace, obviously, after that big impulsive push to the upside in the 4 hourly time frame. That's obviously expected. I still think there's room for us to the upside here a little bit for Euro NZD. So going to be seeing if I can hold on to it a little bit longer and see if we can get another push to the upside. But again, if you do start to fall back down, I'll just look to exit my position completely. Got into the trade around this level here. We had a nice double bottom, potentially had that impulsive move. Still treating this bearish trend to the downside as retrace, as a pullback in the market. We failed to break this this low here. Gave us a nice push to the upside, got in for a long trade, and saw price push up to the upside quite nicely. So taking most of my profit there. But if we do start to fall back, I'll probably look to exit that position completely. But yeah, that is the end of the live stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you found it useful. Also follow me on my Telegram channel. I left a link to that in the live chat and in the description below. So we post a lot of different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't want to be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, it's the end of the live stream. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I will see you later.